In Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow, she tells of an interview she had with a minister in Waterloo, Mississippi. And when I want to read this interview to you, it's a hustle. Felony is the new N-word. They don't have to call you a nigger anymore. They just say you're a felon. Once you have that felony stamp, your hope for employment, for any kind of reintegration into society, it begins to fade out. Today's lynching is a felony charge. Today's lynching is incarceration. Today's lynch mobs are professionals. They have a badge. They have a law degree. A felony is a modern way of saying, I'm going to hang you up and burn you. Once you get that, you're on fire. And I'm burning. I'm on fire. Again, my name is Raymond Zeigler. And I just got finished doing 20 years up at Greatest Ford Penitentiary in Pennsylvania. Yes, a crime I did commit. However, I paid my dues to society. But yet I'm on fire. Even with a Villanova degree, I'm on fire. Even working for the Mental Health Association of Southeastern Pennsylvania, receiving certification as a certified peer specialist, certified forensic specialist, I'm on fire. The same places let me do internship, working side by side with city employees. But when a position came open that I was more than qualified for, and supervisors went to bat for me, guess what? They would not hire me. I'm on fire. Damn it, somebody help me put this fire out. Many of our African American young males and females that are incarcerated, when they re-enter back into society, they are on fire. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
Today, the topic you'll see in your program is the legacy of slavery. How do we face the legacy of slavery? How do I trace the legacy of slavery from slavery to you and me? Your people suffered, and then we're free, right? And we shake our heads at history. I once was blind, but now I see. Haven't we all been long set free? Is there something that keeps me from engaging the fuller history? James Baldwin wrote to family that whites, like me, quote, are trapped in a history they still do not understand, and until they understand it, they cannot be released from it. Wait, I need to be set free? What do we mean by legacy? Isn't colorblindness empathy? Or is it time to see?
Discrimination is real daily. Mass incarceration policies, a way to deny participation, preventing real emancipation.
Okay, step back. Can I profess on historical trauma and participatory induced traumatic stress? Trauma comes from the word for wound.
A wound must be lovingly dressed, but first it must be cleaned.
Addressing historical harms. We've learned from indigenous teachers. Maria Yellowhorse Braveheart describes the Lakota historical trauma response, quote, a constellation of features associated with massive group trauma across generations, such as the 1890 Wounded Knee Massacre and the removal of children to federal boarding schools. Navajo activist Mark Charles asks, why is it so unaddressed that the historical foundations of the U.S. rest on genocide and slavery. Participatory induced traumatic stress. He answers his own question. White folks unable to process the blood on our people's hands. And of course, that might be easy if we could place it back in distant time. But what we mean by legacy is that we're still engaging in these crimes. And so back to the legacy and aftermath of enslavement.
What is a legacy? Beliefs, ideas, mythologies, prejudices, biases, behaviors we disseminate and inherit.
For example, I got here all on my own merit.
What is an aftermath? Institutions, laws, political, economic power structures, the official narratives conveyed and enforced by society supporting systems, like education and religion, social services, criminal justice. The aftermath, the systems enforce or reinforce particular aspects of a legacy.
Prequel. Declaring independence, we said all men created equal, but we had to clarify with a 3/5 compromise, a black body is property, therefore just counts partially.
Dred Scott sued for his freedom, but courts denied him that. In fact, denied citizenship to any black.
The Emancipation Proclamation didn't quite set black bodies free.
It provided black soldiers to the Union, threatening the Confederacy.
13th Amendment, 1865, finally, the law arrived, banning slavery and involuntary servitude. Of course, law is different from attitude. And there was an exception. The ban did not apply to the punishment of crime. The ban did not apply to the punishment of crime. Civil Rights Act, 1866, 14th Amendment, 1868, full right to citizenship, overturning both Dred Scott and that old 3/5. 15th Amendment, 1870, universal suffrage, male that is. And of course, we have some loopholes, voter registration and literacy test hoops.
But what to do now to rebuild? Let me repeat that. What to do now to rebuild? Round them up for convict leasing, even cheaper source of labor, conditions worse than slavery. And Jim Crow, 90 years of separate but equal. Bombing, lynchings, lynching mob violence. Civil rights struggles, eyes on the prize. We look to a more promising sequel.
I sang with many. Rosa sat, so Martin could walk, Martin walked. So Barack could run, Barack ran. He ran and he won, so all our children could fly.
A black president. Yes, we have seen it. People of color, all kinds of achievements.
Yet, if I want to understand the reality of discrimination, if I want to develop some potential solution, look to the bottom, I'm told. See the whole context, social, historical, indignity, distress.
Let's look to the bottom of this wound before we wrap it up. Oh no, now the new Jim Crow. Instead of emancipation, we have mass incarceration, implicit bias, stigmatization, schools to prison pipeline, brutalization. Can our children walk safely while black in this nation?
And I want to believe we've come far. We are learning. I feel more heat and my stomach burning when I hear of another youth shot. When I look to the bottom and I find that Black women are the fastest growing incarcerated population. 1 in 10 Black men with high school diplomas serve time in prison or jail. Of Black men who dropped out of school, 37% are incarcerated, more than a third, compared to less than 1% of the general population. How can I accept that, quote, prison time has become a normal life event for African American men who have dropped out of high school? And even in school, studies of zero tolerance reflect small-time infractions bring disciplinary actions which affect disproportionately minority and especially African American youth.
A racial caste system, living stigmatizations, criminal records change everything. The old exception, the ban did not apply to punishment of crime. And punishing crime, we can continue to ban people by law and by custom, from mainstream society to social mobility.
So today, as back then, there is something to abolish. Today, why do we not have more abolitionists? Black Lives Matter activists invite a wagging finger or even get called terrorists?
Is that what we call abolitionists? And civil rights activists? Where's empathy on our list? Can the people at the top look and listen to the ones at the bottom?
In trying to heal historical harm, individual or collective, this is one of our manuals, we explore 4 core responses. Face history, make connections, heal wounds, take action. Let's say those again. Face history, make connections, heal wounds, take action.
Is that what we call abolitionists again? And civil rights activists? Well, Here, facing history means facing slavery and its legacy and its aftermath. If we connect in honesty, rage, and desperate realities, we may find a path to healing these wounds. We may identify how our stories fit together, listen to each other's truth.
With such loving preparation, we may yet reach emancipation.
As you see, this poem is uplifting but sad. Trauma is a serious, serious disease. We all are traumatized at some point of our lives, and we all walk around traumatized. In the African American community, we have a high rate on black crime, high rate of incarceration. In the African American community, you have a low employment rate, but yet high recidivism rate. In the African American community, what is our plight? Could you tell me? What is our plight, Miss Katie?
I think we just did what we could to lay it out. And it is our plight. It's not just yours.
So how could I say Black Lives Matter?
Black lives do matter.
Can we all say Black Lives Matter?
Black lives matter.
I don't think y'all serious about this. Can I say Black Lives Matter?
Black lives matter.
One more time. Let's sound good. Black Lives Matter?
Black lives matter.
That's what I want to hear. Thank you.